You know, when you wake up in the morning already tired, right? You have not even gotten out of bed yet. Your feet have not even touched the floor, and you feel it. It's like that low pull of dread about what's coming up for your day. What is stacked up that you need to deal with today? You haven't even started it yet. And it's there, that inner feeling. Did you feel it this morning? This is really why it's so important that we seek the Lord first before we pick up our phone and start, you know, looking at what's going on in the world. We need to center ourselves and we need to go back to our foundation, which is Jesus the rock, right? Because that helps us because we do have a full day. You probably do have some trepidation about what is going on in your day today. And so helping to re just refocus on the Lord gives us so much more peace. But you might also be going through your day and then you hit a wall at 2 p.m., right? You are reading the same email 3 times, it's still not connecting. You are running a call and you are struggling with a word, but you cover it with a laugh, right? Your body may physically feel heavy. You know that feeling where your limbs feel like they're walking through quicksand or water? Maybe your head feels really foggy and just full, right? And you're just pushing through. You're just getting things done systematically, slower, but you're getting it done. And you take the last sip of your cold coffee because there's still hours left in this day, right? You have to push through. There is no chance to pause and go take a nap, right? Even though your body might be crying out for that. And so you get through your day. Yay! We do. We get through our day. We pull into our driveway. And has this ever happened to you where you pull into your driveway, maybe pull your car into the garage, turn everything off, and you just sit in silence? Just total silence. It's like, nobody needs anything from me. I just need a moment. Because the drive wasn't exactly relaxing. I mean, come on. Like, if you're in rush hour traffic, there's no time to chillax and relax on your way home, right? You're still on high alert. Let's be real. So, it's not that you don't want to walk in your door, you want to, but you know that your second phase begins when you walk in that door. There's still things that you need to do, and you just need a moment to collect yourself. That's all. You may have been driving home and like have no desire to cook, so you pull in through the drive-through once again and let you feel that small pang, right, that you always feel. And by the time you do get home, physically you're just drained, and you might be feeling all sorts of feelings. Your jeans might be fitting tighter, or those cute work pants that you just bought last week and you fit so good might be feeling really, really uncomfortably snug. Your body is giving you signals. Your body is giving you signs. You've been here too many times to count, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know that when you go to lay down at night, your body is aching, but your brain won't turn off. Your body's crying for sleep, but your brain is still on high alert, right? And so often you might grab your phone and do what you've always done and just scroll to try to relax, right? But even though you know in your heart it's not really helping you to relax, you do it anyway because it's what you've always done. You've done this for months, you've done this for years, maybe carrying this level of exhaustion, carrying this level of fatigue, right? And you've had professionals tell you, hey, your labs look normal, you're good, it's just your season. I literally was talking with a client just yesterday about how I was literally patted on the hand with, honey, you just have to deal with it. I was 35. I'm not dealing with anything if I don't have to. If I can change something about my health, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I know that God created my body to work well, not to be on a constant struggle bus. So if I am on a constant struggle bus, something's not right, right? We want to ask what's not right. And so whatever you've been hearing, it's your stress, it's your season, it's hormones, it's blah, 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 right? if your labs come back normal in the normal ranges, you start feeling like it's all in your head. You feel like it's you. It's not you. I promise you. It is not you. It is not all in your head. You are not just imagining this. What you are feeling is real and it needs to be addressed. And I want you to understand that you're not alone in this. As a matter of fact, there was a 2025 study out of Mayo Clinic. It wasn't a huge study, but there were 5,000 women that were surveyed in the midlife season. Okay, so in our age range, and more than 3 out of 4 were living with real fatigue and disruptive symptoms that were distracting them from the life that they wanted to live, right? It was disrupting their life. And most of them were carrying it and dealing with it with no real support, no real care to help, no real answers. So I hope that gives you a little like, hey, I'm not in this alone, right? This isn't just me. It's not just you and your girlfriends that are talking about this. You're not alone, and your body is not working against you. As a matter of fact, your body is communicating to you. It is trying to tell you, hey, something's not right. And so it's been waiting for you to fully listen and understand. And that takes practice, right? Hi, I'm Michelle. And if you are new to me, I am founder of Treasured Wellness. And if you value stewardship over spaghetti throwing at the wall when it comes to your midlife health, you're in the right place. This is what I have come to believe after more than 20 years of research. I'm a researcher by nature, by design. God created me this way. I'm so grateful for it. I get it from my dad too. I am just so grateful for it because I needed to become a researcher as well with my daughter's illness and then with my own health issues, right? So good health is not just something that happens to a few lucky people, right? No, it is not just a reward for having good genes. And by the way, spoiler alert, you can actually change your gene expression. So let that give you hope. If you have heard for decades that there's a specific diagnosis in your family and it's inevitable that you're going to get it, not necessarily. Don't ever believe that. Okay. Don't ever believe that. But most of the time, good health is the fruit of stewarding our body the way God intended, on purpose, day after day, faithfully stewarding. And okay, sure, it's not glamorous, right? Let's be real. Making sure that you drink water before coffee is not glamorous, especially if you don't like water and you are building up that muscle. You are building up that healthy habit to drink water before coffee. It's not glamorous. It's faithful though, and it's powerful, more powerful than you know, because it is helping you deep down on the inside. This is true inside out healing. Being faithful to steward your body well is inside out healing. And so, but the thing is about the whole glamorous thing, look, you've tried glamorous and it didn't work, right? So it's time to steward your health. And it doesn't have to be glamorous. We don't want it to be glamorous. We want it to be consistent, doable, and sustainable. That's what we want, right? We don't need all the things. We just want to feel well, and we want to be well, and we want to be in good health. And so I am walking through this on August 25th on my masterclass called Stop Normalizing Exhaustion. We are going to walk through why you are still tired after getting those results that say your labs are fine, everything's fine, you are fine, but you know something's not right. And we are going to walk through what faithful root cause stewardship of your body, very individual, actually looks like. Okay. Now, this is a free masterclass. I would love to have you in right there in person. There's something so powerful about being live in the room. And so you can pause me right now to register. The link is in the show notes. And let's get answers together. Okay. So we talk a lot about stewardship as a church and as a whole. We talk a lot about stewardship, right? But we're talking about stewardship more in terms of stewarding our money, our time, our talents, right? We are rarely talking about why we need to steward the body that He gave us to carry what we need to carry in the day to day. But yet in 3 John 2, this is spelled out very plainly. And all Bible verse references this episode are going to be from the King James, because I just love the way the King James talks about 3 John 2 very specifically. It says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." It's just beautiful. It's very poetic, but yet so powerful. Be in health. Be in health. Don't you want to be in health? Capital B, capital E, be in health? Yes. And our soul is our mind, will, and emotions. We want that to prosper. We don't want it to be shriveled up. We don't want it to be focusing on fear thoughts. We want to be focused on faith-filled, faith-fueled thoughts, right? We want prosperity in our mind, will, and emotions, or our heart and our soul and our life and our body and our health. And our health really does matter to the creator who designed our body, right? Caring for ourselves is not vanity. It is not selfish. If you have been in my community for a while, you have heard me talk about that. Self-care is actually biblical, done in this right stewardship model here. And it really should not be just one more thing on your list. I hear this over and over and over again, especially from solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners, career-driven women that are they are giving everything they have to their career, to their business. And they're like, I know I need to take better care of myself. I don't have the time. Well, in love, may I suggest you can't afford to not take the time to care for yourself. You do not have a business if you don't have your health. Now, that may sound harsh, but think through it, especially if you are the one running the business, right? If you are the CEO, if you are the Christ-empowered operator running all of the operations of your business, if you are a CEO of a company, you are running all of the operations in that company, you are leading teams, you are doing all of the things. Where does that leave the business if you're not there to run it? And it's a very sobering reality that I hear over and over again. There was one year where, not to be graphic here, but there was one year where 5 people died that my husband and I knew in roundabout ways, basically before they were able to retire. That's tragic enough. But then their position was filled like very quickly, because that's what companies do. So God desires us to be in health, in body, mind, and spirit. And so stewarding our health is actually a rule of biblical living, the same as every other thing that he has placed in our hands as believers. It's another rule of biblical living, stewarding our health, just like stewarding our money, just like stewarding our time, just like being aware of what our eyes are taking in and what our ears are taking in. And a steward is essentially an overseer, right? We read that in the Bible in various different passages. It is a manager or a caretaker of something that belongs to someone else. That is what you and I are with our body, right? We didn't create it. We don't own it, but we've been entrusted with it by the one who created us. And so over these next several conversations, we are going to walk through 7 marks of a good steward straight from scripture. And we're going to ask the Lord and let each one reshape how we care for the body that God gave us. We're going to ask him for wisdom. We are going to ask him to help us walk this out with discernment, wisdom, and faithfulness. And 7, I love the number 7. It's the number of completion, right? And today we are going to start with the first one where every steward needs to start, and that is faithfulness. So we are in this biblical stewardship of your health series. We are stewarding our health God's way, and we are starting with a trait of faithfulness. I love Webster's 1828 dictionary. It defines faithfulness as fidelity, loyalty, a firm adherence to allegiance and duty. It is a strict adherence to the duties of your station. the faithfulness of a servant. That is Webster's 1828. And Paul says it in 1 Corinthians 4:2. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. That was King James. And in the New King James, it says that one is found faithful. So what is that? What is that? He said, found faithful, not perfect, not striving, not finished, not arrived, not completed, faithful. Faithful in the small and in the ordinary and in the unseen, in the daily rhythms of life. That is the standard, that we are found faithful. And it's really, let's be completely honest here, that is something that deep, deep, deep down inside, we desire to hear, right? We are all longing to hear that one day. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. We're all longing to hear that. And so faithfulness is not, when we talk about faithfully stewarding our body, it's not dramatic. It is not this big overhaul. It is not this massive, like 30-day program that you force yourself through and then abandon, but it is the quiet, repeated, ordinary care that we give our body that God entrusted us with, right? On days that we feel it, on days that we don't feel it. And it's, again, so not glamorous. It's not. But I can promise you it is powerful in results. Powerful. I mean, I have been doing this a long time before I actually put true language behind it. And time again, I can tell physically, emotionally, spiritually, how I am feeling based on how I am stewarding my health. And you may have heard me talk about how there are 3 different distinct types of fatigue. And the exhaustion that you are carrying is rarely just one thing, okay? It does show up in other places. And faithfulness will speak to all 3 of these specific fatigue types. So we have the physical fatigue. That's the most obvious, right? Your body is literally running itself on empty. You hit that 2 o'clock wall, you get that second wind at 10 p.m. That makes no sense. You're exhausted, but why is your brain wired? It's that tired but wired feeling. You know, your belly starts bloating after lunch and just gets bigger and bigger. Most of it traces back to a stress response that's been running in overdrive in the background for far too long, right? Constantly pumping out the cortisol. And when the stress switch stays on, for example, if you are living in a fiery trial, like going through something that is not ending anytime soon, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, you're wired but tired, you're on edge, you're getting through your day, nobody would know you're going through all of this emotional stuff. You're getting through over time, because that takes a lot of energy too. The steady drain wears you down. It wears down your energy. It wears down your digestion. It wears down your ability to fully restore when you fall asleep. When you go to sleep, your brain is not fully able to flush out the garbage of the day and then give you that restorative sleep that you're so much longing for. And then we have emotional fatigue. This is where you are just flat out weary from holding everything together and waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? The mental load that never ever seems to end, right? Like the feeling of being tapped out even before the day is halfway over, right? I literally heard from a client just 2 days ago. She said, I can't deal with one more person needing me. Can you relate to that? I remember when I could. It's not a good place to be, because we love people and we love to help. And that's the way God designed us, is to help others and to be present and to be helpful and to be what people need and to help them in their times of need. But when we reach that borderline burnout stage, right? This is high functioning fatigue, close to the burnout stage. I can't deal with one more person needing something from me or needing me. That's strong emotional fatigue. And then we have spiritual fatigue. And this is the most dangerous type of fatigue because it pulls us away from our source. It pulls us away from our foundation, Jesus, Jesus. And it's this quiet overtime depletion that comes from running so hard and so long that we are not really in tune during our quiet time. We are not as focused. Our brain is focusing on what we have to do that day if we're sitting down first thing in the morning. And it's really hard for women like this to get quiet enough to sit with him. And then over time we start giving up. Well, it's not working. I can't focus. I can't pray. Like, I don't even know how to pray. And instead of remaining like, because it doesn't have to be, there's no perfection, right? Like, just give a minute, take 5 minutes. Like, there's no special way of doing this. It's just talking to the Lord, and sometimes just sitting in stillness and just saying, Lord, I don't know what to say, and just let him nourish and nurture you. But that's hard when we are dealing with all of these types of fatigue too. It's very, very difficult. And that's why I say it's the most dangerous type of fatigue, because it pulls us away from our Creator. Faithfulness is the answer to all three, but it's because faithfulness is not about intensity. So hear me on this. Please hear me on this. It's not that if you are struggling with fatigue and that you are struggling in your health, or you are struggling with any of those three types of fatigue, that you're not faithful, because you are faithful. And I know that. And life keeps on lifing, and it keeps pulling from you. It keeps taking from you. And we need to put the oxygen mask on ourselves so that we can then continue to pour out into others. If we don't have any oxygen, what good are we? Go back to, if you have a business, what is that business if you're not there? Right? We are faithful, and yet the noise of the world overtakes. So hear me, that I'm not saying you're not faithful. I'm not saying I'm not faithful, because I completely can get into that rut of doubting my faithfulness. It's like the man that said, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief, right? This is a journey. Even Paul said, why do I do the things that I know I shouldn't do, and I don't do the things that I know I should do, right? Like, we are humans. That's why. Can you imagine what heaven is going to be like with our perfected bodies, minds, hearts, just everything in unity, the way God intended for it to be? So faithfulness in regards to stewarding our health, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency, right? Those small, repeated acts, day after day, of care, of faithfully stewarding your body, of faithfully stewarding your mind, faithfully stewarding your heart before the Lord with open hands and a surrendered heart. And as believers who love the Lord and aim to please him day in and day out, we do need to be discerning about how we think about faithfulness. Like I just said, this is not a failure if you have any of these types of fatigue, or you are struggling in your health and you can't get it together. I hear that all the time. And I said that myself too. Why can't I just get it together? Well, let me tell you, you're going to the doctor, you're getting things tested, you're getting a clean bill of health, and you feel anything but. So again, like I said in the beginning, this is not all in your head. There is something not right, and we need to get to the bottom of it. So it can be really hard to be faithful when we feel like garbage. It just is. It can be hard to be faithfully stewarding our bodies and our health when we feel like crap. Like, we don't, it's just one more thing we have to do, right? But that is what I don't want you to walk away with. It is not one more thing for you to have to do, because for high achieving women, we do tend to do, capital D, capital O, more and more in the name of faithfulness than, and I should say when, God is actually potentially, probably, most definitely calling us to be, capital B, capital E. More and more, he is calling us to be and do less, especially when you are going through a season of high stress, high fatigue, and insecurity in your health. Grace and grit. Give yourself grace with the grit to keep going another day with one faithful step. And so this is where it gets practical, and this is where the world gets it wrong. It's a big part that the world gets wrong, because the world says to fix your health with a big push, right? Do more. Do that punishing program. Do that quick fix, right? Do that total reboot. Do the newest and the greatest, right? Because that's the thing that's going to work. And because we are doers, right? We rise to the challenge. But many women, when they realize they cannot sustain that punishing program or whatever that thing is, they decide they failed and they quit. That didn't work for me. But the research tells a different story. Roughly 80% of chronic disease is driven by everyday lifestyle factors. Lifestyle factors, right? The ordinary choices that you and I make around food, movement, sleep, stress, mindset, community, toxic burden. Incidentally, those are the 7 essentials for good health that I walk you through in the Treasured Wellness Whole Health Journal that was created to help you steward your health with intention and biblical application. And so we've got the wellness wheel right there. And so it was created to help you steward your health with intention, not perfection, intention. Not dated that you have to do it all every single day for the rest of your life. I don't want you journaling every day for the rest of your life. My clients know that. They know they don't have to do that. We journal for seasons, right? And then we can let it go, and then we pick it back up when something's not right, when we have gotten so in tune with our body and we have that we just know something's not right. We pick it back up and we start journaling again, right? Because then we get the answers, we get that data about what our body is telling us. So this is completely inviting the Lord into our health, body, mind, and spirit. And so you can actually grab your own copy at treasuredwellness.com/journal, or better yet, sign up for the Stop Normalizing Exhaustion Masterclass on August 25th, and you can grab your VIP slot for not only amazing bonuses, but your own copy of the Treasured Wellness Journal. So the link is in the description. These 7 essentials are daily rhythms that help us to live a life in good health, in body, mind, and spirit, not through perfection, right? But through intentional patterns that your body appreciates and my body appreciates. And I can tell you, like I said before, I notice a difference when I don't. Studies show that small, consistent changes do more over time than big overhauls, right? These dramatic things, they don't work. This is why, New Year's resolutions don't stick. So your body responds to patterns, and a consistent bedtime, a real breakfast with protein, a 20-minute walk after dinner, water before coffee, like none of it's impressive, right? And yet all of it compounds, all of it makes a difference, especially cellularly. And faithfulness is just that, my friend. It's like just small, steady, repeated rhythms, and it frees you and I. When we are worn thin, if you are worn thin right now, it will bring freedom for you. And if you're thinking, man, I cannot add one more thing. My clients know we don't add more. We crowd out what is not serving with what fuels, with what supports, satisfies, builds up, not adding more. You don't need another hard superwoman push, right? Life is intense enough. You need a faithful pattern. Galatians 6:9 says it super clear. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Galatians 6:9. Again, King James Version. The reaping will come in due season, which means the faithful, ordinary care that you and I give our body today, it's never wasted. Even on days when we don't yet see the harvest or feel the harvest, even if you don't quite feel it yet. As I wrap up, let me ask you just to lay one thing down today. And no, it's not your food. I'm not going to ask you to stop doing something like that. But I want you to lay down the belief that you have to do this perfectly or not at all. There's driven women, go hard, go big, go home, right? All or nothing. Lay that down. There's so much freedom in that. Perfectionism has kept more women exhausted than ever any lack of trying ever has. Perfectionism is one of the four mindsets that busy Christian women adopt, and it's not serving us. God did not ask us to be perfect with the body that He asked us to steward. He's not asking for perfection. He's asking us to be faithful. So you are not behind and you're not failing and you are not alone. You are a steward who is ready to be found faithful. And that is starting with the next small choice in front of you. And you know what that is. You know, as I've been talking, you know what's coming up to your mind. You know what the Lord is speaking. And you can actually meet that standard because it's the one that He set. Just be faithful. Stay close to me, right? Abide, John 15. So if something is resonating with you and you are feeling encouraged and you are ready to stop pushing through and start stewarding your health with intention, I want you to be in my Zoom room on August 25th for that masterclass, Stop Normalizing Exhaustion. We're going to walk through why you are so tired still, even though your labs look fine. We're going to talk about what faithful root cause stewardship of your body actually looks like from here. And listen, this is a free class and your spot is ready for you. I would love to see you there and help you to find some fatigue freedom and have the answers that you have been searching for. And I want to end with this blessing. And this blessing is from Ephesians. It says, "For this cause I bow my knees unto the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that He would grant you, according to the riches of His glory, to be strengthened with might by His Spirit in the inner man, that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge, that ye may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now unto Him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us, unto Him be glory in the church by Christ Jesus throughout all ages. Amen." I pray that has blessed you and encouraged you today. You are a beautiful treasure. Treasure your wellness, and I can't wait to see you August